What's up guys, this is Nick Pell once again, and as always, if you watch my videos consistently, as most of you don't, this is coming once again from my room. Now, today's book is Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. This is another book that I read during my AP Lit class last year. That's what the majority of the next couple books will be. This is the edition that I had. This is the Signet Classic. It has both Conrad's Heart of Darkness and The Secret Sharer in it. On to characters right now. First guy I'm going to talk about is a guy named Marlowe. He's the main character of the story, but he's not the narrator of the story precisely. But he's the guy who the story is technically seen through. You just know for now he's the main character of the story. And then you also have Kurtz. Many people who have read this book will know the name just because, well, he's the bad guy of this whole novel. Kurtz is someone whose presence is felt throughout this whole entire book. From Marlowe's first step into Africa to his last. You can feel Kurtz's presence, but you never really see him until the very last part of the book. And then you also have the men aboard the Nelly, which is where the book starts out. The book is actually narrated by an unnamed narrator who is listening to Marlowe tell this tale about his journey through Africa. Then there's also a couple people who start listening, but who eventually kind of drift off to sleep. The unnamed narrator is the one person who actually stays awake through the whole thing and actually gets something out of Marlowe's story. Now onto the plot. The plot, as I said before, it starts out aboard the Nelly, which is occupied by Marlowe's friends and comrades from basically his past. And then eventually, about 10 pages, maybe probably less than that actually, into the novel, Marlowe begins to tell his tale about his trip to Africa. It starts with him in Europe, and then it goes to him in Africa from beginning to end, and then it talks about him afterwards. It begins with them on the Nelly, and it ends with them on the Nelly. And it's actually a really interesting story. And then from time to time, the unnamed narrator will put in his own little input. And then we got themes. Two of these themes are kind of typical in any story: good, evil, then truth. Good and evil, you got Marlowe versus Kurtz, basically. Truth kind of goes with the third theme, ignorance versus wisdom. Throughout Marlowe's tale, you see the people who are stationed in Africa. This is when Britain occupied Africa. You see British people stationed from checkpoint to checkpoint that Marlowe goes through. The ignorance versus intelligence thing kind of goes well with that, just on how the people look upon the Africans that are around them. Then you also have humanity as another theme. That just kind of goes throughout the whole book, honestly. You could see it as that way, or you could just see it as Marlowe's trip through Africa, seeing the different types of humanity that surrounds him. But on to enjoyment. When I originally read this book, about a year ago actually, I probably missed about 75% of what even happened, just because chapters are insanely long. So it's kind of hard to keep your focus for that long on a book when the chapters are like 20 plus pages. And so I kind of just ended up skimming through it. I daydreamed, I think, probably a little bit of it. But upon my second read through this winter, or last winter, my teacher broke down the chapters in a way that we could read them easily. I ended up loving it because of that, because I figured out that it was actually a really good story, and a really compelling story, which, me being my ignorant, just finished junior year self, I didn't see that, and I didn't know that. And I would have to say that the best way, if you're in high school or maybe even college, the best way to read this book would probably be with an audio recording. Have the book in front of you, but listen to it and follow along, because that's what I ended up doing with the last two parts of the book. It's a little book, but it's tough to read. The story is well put together and intriguing. I would recommend this book if you like books that don't have just set black and white characters, because none of these characters are really fully what they're displayed as. If you like Joseph Conrad novels too, I would recommend this one if you haven't read it already. And then also books with kind of hidden things that you're not going to see upon a first read, which kind of foreshadow what's going to happen later in the book. That stuff I really like when that happens. And yeah, that's basically my review of it. I hope you like it. As always, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. If you feel so obliged to, leave a comment down below. Tell me your opinion of the book, and what you liked, didn't like about it, didn't like about this review. So yeah, any input that you have would be great and would help me develop this show, as I guess you could call it, a little bit better and make it more entertaining for you guys. And yeah, read it if you find my review compelling enough to make you want to read it. It's actually a really good story. Like I said, characters are intriguing and themes are everywhere, even more so than what I said. So yeah, read it. One thing I want to let anyone who actually follows these videos go, which is probably no one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Every Tuesday, starting the 22nd and going to sometime in November, I'm going to be releasing a video every Tuesday, or at least trying to release a video every Tuesday. I'm going to film a bunch of them this week, and then try to edit my butt off and get them done and get them ready so that they could all go out on the same day if I wanted them to. So yeah, they'll go about until mid-November. At the moment, I'm reading Dostoevsky's The Idiot. Then I'll be starting the Song of Ice and Fire series. I'll probably get a number of those reviews in a row. And then I'll also be reviewing my college books, because I have some novels assigned, and then I also have some textbooks that I could probably review too, just for something to review, because you never know. I have about 7 reviews that I'm going to be filming today and tomorrow, which are basically my AP Lit books plus Crime and Punishment. It'll depend on how much time I have in my dorm to film and edit. It takes like 10-15 minutes to film, but the editing process takes like 4 hours sometimes, and that's really tough to listen to myself talk. I don't know how you guys do it. That's what's going to happen until next week. My name is, as always, Nick Pell, and keep on reading. Jungle,